Hey everyone, it's Bethany. Welcome back. In this video, I am in need of a really fun encouragement card. So I thought I would just take some paper and have some fun with some color. So I have 5 colors that I pulled. This is called honeysuckle, then we have grapefruit, sunflower, sea glass, and then juniper. And I'll link everything that I'm using in the description box below. But I'm gonna start by trimming these down into little paper strips and we're gonna go from there. So before I do anything, I am going to take my little pieces here, and I really want to use, I should mention, this die here. Isn't this neat? This is called You Did It, and I've had this for a while. Let me actually, it'd be nice to see how big this actually is. So I'm going to need roughly 3 inches. So let's do, I'm thinking I will do 1/2 inch strips. Would that be right? Maybe, yeah, let's do 1/2 inch strips. Actually, I'd prefer 1/4 inch strips just because of the size of the die. So I'm gonna do 1/4 inch strips, and let me do, well, given the size, I probably can trim these this way too. You know what? I'll get to that when I get to that. I'm gonna do about 2 strips to start, and then we'll go from there. Okay, now given the size, oh, that'll be perfect. Given the size of my little die, I'll leave this out for reference for you and I. But what I want to do here, let me get myself organized because I'm thinking the order I want to do looks somewhat like this. I'm really drawn to that. Okay, so let's pull these to the side, and I'm thinking, let me focus on, well, you know what I'll do is I will just cut this down. Let's cut this down here. Okay, this is kind of where I need to focus on for my paper. And I'm just going to start with this little tape runner, bringing some little paper strips in, and I'm going to do it like this so that I can trim off my extra and use that to bring in further rows. So there we go, making sure I'm gonna need lots of tape here. Okay, bring in the next one. There. And there. Okay, I'm going to keep continuing. Let's see, a little bit of room to do this one before I cut off that next section. Actually, you know what I'll do is I will do all of my little pieces and then I'll trim down. Because these, we're getting to a section where we're going to need a lot of length here. Whoops. Okay, hold on. And you want to make sure, I really like the juniper and the, let's see, which color was this? Honeysuckle. That pink is that honeysuckle. I really like those next to each other. That looks really neat. Okay, but you want to make sure you really get these nice and close. There we go. And that way you don't have any little gaps. Okay, now that I've used all my strips, I'm all about using every last little piece, especially with this cardstock, because I love it so much that I kind of have a hoarding problem with it because I just don't want to waste any. But I'm just going to cut as close as I can. That little piece I won't need. That way I can save any and all pieces. Now the other side I won't be able to use, but now with our little scrap pieces that we trimmed off, let's bring those back down in here. Now I got to remember my order because now I don't have them all in a little nice line. But, oops, need to get that a little bit closer. And there we go. Last piece. Well, do I even need this? Okay, I should be good. So now, let's let's go ahead and move these to the side. I am going to secure my little die here. Actually, I need to trim these apart before I do any of that. So I'm going to grab my little snips here and snip them apart because we have a really neat shadow layer, but we also have obviously our letters. So let me trim those apart, and we're just going to use, you could do either really. It'd be really neat to do the color out of the shadow and then do your letters in white, sorry, excuse me, but I really want to showcase a lot of that color. So I'm going to use this, bring in a little bit of tape here, and let's go ahead and cut this out. Okay, so I have my little universal plate system here. So I have A, B, and C for my little sandwich. Then I'm going to place my little paper with die cut on there, top it with another C plate, and let's go ahead and cut that out. There we go. I'm just going to bring that right back through just to make sure, since we're cutting through a couple layers there. Let's check it out to see how it did. It did beautiful. Okay, just popping all of these little pieces out. And what's wonderful is that everything, oh my goodness, it's stuck. Everything is on one piece. Isn't that neat? So the way it was designed is allowing it all to be connected, which I love that. I think that's fun. Okay, so we have our You Did It. This is really cool as well. I'm wondering if I could keep this, and if I would need all my little pieces. Let's see, which pieces would I need? I would need this, and, well, I would need all of these. Okay, so let me put these to the side. I'm going to put them up here. And I'm also, while I have this here, why don't I cut out the shadow from here, because I'm wondering if I could do something fun with my leftover pieces. Why not? Okay, that looks pretty good to me. Bring in some tape. And I'm gonna do both sides, just so it doesn't shift. Really want some good placement there. Okay, let's go ahead and cut this out too. We might have a bonus card, which is always a fun idea. Okay. And, oh, look at that. That's really fun. I like this. So this gives us an idea of what it would be like to do that layer as well, just doing that background layer. Let's have fun with both of these. I really want to do 2 cards. I certainly didn't set out to do 2 cards today, but it's always fun to see where crafting will take you. Okay, I'm going to try, actually I'm going to bring that over here. I'm going to cut out the letters. I'm going to do maybe 3 additional. Well, now knowing what cards I'm going to do, I'm going to do 2 cards today. Oh, look at that. Just came right on out. Let's do 2 additional here. And then maybe I'll do 3 for the next one, and you'll see why when I do that little bonus card. But let's focus on our first card first. But while I have my cutting machine out, I'm going to make sure I do all of that cutting right now. Oh goodness, that is just coming off very nicely. Okay, I'll continue all the cutting, and then we'll have fun assembling. Okay, really quickly, I am going to use this brand new embossing folder from Simon Says Stamp. They sent this over to me to have some fun with, and you know, I'll do 2 because again, doing 2 cards, so I'm just going to save some time here. But before I do that, before I emboss, I want to trim my panels down because I don't want to trim them after the fact and ruin that embossing look. I don't want to press the paper more than I need to. So I'm going to trim these down to 4 by 5 1/4, and I'll do the same for this second one. Then what I will do is just take a baby wipe and just get my cardstock a little damp. I'll set this one off to the side for a moment. Place it within my embossing folder. Now this embossing folder does have some definitive lines, so I'm going to take my time lining that up. Things like that do matter. You don't want crooked lines. It's not the end of the world, but if you can pause and just take your time with this part, it's a good idea. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Now, so that doesn't, I'm just gonna put my little rubbing alcohol in there so that doesn't open back up. I need to figure out the embossing sandwich. Let's see. Okay, I think this would just be a standard embossing folder. So we're gonna do platform base A, also B, and then our embossing folder with the paper inside, and then just one of our C cutting plates. And you know, every company does their embossing folders slightly different, so sometimes you have to see. I already can tell that that's not quite going to work. So instead of, maybe I'll just do A and C. Let's see if I can do that. Oh, I think I can. Okay. Whoop, let me turn this. Give myself a little bit of muscle. There we go. So what I was starting to say was that I feel like all embossing folders are made different. So you have to just figure out the, ooh, that's fun, the sandwich that works best for the folder in front of you. So, oops, look at that. Isn't that fun? Oh, that's neat. Okay, let me do that to my second panel, and then we'll go ahead and start building not one, but two cards. Okay, there is my second embossed panel. Isn't that neat? I think that's so fun. Really cool. Okay, again, I'll link that down below. This is part of their latest release, which is so fun. Now let's go ahead and do some gluing. And we're going to ignore, let me move these so that they don't distract us. We are going to ignore those pieces, and let's work on our first card. Now, I did go ahead and cut out that shadow layer twice, and I actually so far have only been using 80-pound cardstock. I did forget to mention that, so pardon me, but we are just using, so far, some little scraps, which is always, oh my goodness, that's always so refreshing. And like I mentioned, especially when you have a really, really great cardstock and great colors, you don't dare throw any of it away. You really don't. Okay, let me do, oopsie. I'm trying not to get glue everywhere, but let me line these all up. Kind of shift those into position. Ooh, that lined up really good. Okay, I'll layer that one more time, and this final layer will be our beautiful color strips. I really like how that turned out. I think that's super fun. And I'm going obviously white with my background and then white with my shadow layer so that we can have some fun with color on the actual letters. I didn't want anything to compete with that, so no additional ink or any techniques really, but just some simple paper on paper. Okay. Ooh, that looks so nice. That final layer was our strips glued onto that, so that, or glued onto a piece of paper, so that really counted as 2 layers. Okay, let me, so really that's kind of 4 layers on top of one another. Oops, this little guy needs to pinch right back into place. Here we go. Ooh, that looks fun. Okay, let's really quickly, this will be easy peasy. Let's add some glue here and get everything all layered up. Okay, using some tweezers, and I'm using my glue tweezers. I have a couple pairs, and I am now in the mode of having a sticky pair and a non-sticky pair. So whenever I am going to have glue come into any close interaction. I'm going to use one pair of tweezers because, my goodness, I came to a point where all of my little tweezers were just all gummy. Looks really good. So we did a little craft maintenance. Everything's all clean again. And I'm going to be more intentional with being careful with all of my supplies. Okay, we're going to need a card base. So let me go ahead and bring in my Score Buddy. And this time I will bring in 110-pound cardstock. And I have this cut down to 11 by 4 1/4. And center would be 5 1/2. So that's half of 11. And we'll have a top folding A2 size card. So there is our card base. Really quickly, for my second card, I'll just repeat that step. That way that's all ready to go. Whenever I'm doing multiples of anything, like you saw, I like to do all of my cutting at once, all of my embossing at once, all of my scoring and folding. It really makes it go much quicker. And I don't have to put as much thought into it when I do it that way because I'm not having to re-grab for certain items. All right, let's go ahead and I'm going to add some foam tape to the back. Ooh, this side is really neat as well though. Both sides are super fun. I'm gonna go with that original side so that my bumpy sides are up. I always forget emboss and deboss, the difference. I know, it's so silly. We all have our struggles with certain things, right? Another one is affect and effect. Like I can never remember which one is which. I have to look it up every time. If anyone has a fun little jingle or something that you learned in school about affect and effect, whether it is spelled with an A or an E, let me know. Maybe this is the day with my crafty friends. I'll teach you a fun little card and you teach me some kind of catchy way to remember that. I feel like in school we always remembered such fun things to remember certain things. I'm trying to think of a fun one that you know when your teacher would just give you some fun little ways to remember how to do things. This video just kind of turned into a spelling lesson. One was principal and principal. So the one that, you know, the principal at your school would be spelled P-A-L at the end because that would be your pal, right? Your principal would be your pal. Whereas principle, you know, like a rule or a guideline, that would be spelled the other way, P-L-E. I know. Okay, look how cute this is turning out. I think this is really fun. It's simple, but the texture is just fun. I love that. Okay, I have to admit, embossing folders aren't really, I mean, I love them, but I don't get inspired right away with them sometimes. Sometimes I kind of have to think through. They're kind of an afterthought for me sometimes if I just need a little something more, but I really like this one. This is pretty fun. Okay, I'm going to just center that the best I can. I really want that to be right in the center. That is fun. Let's press that down. I'm excited to see what the negative or the inverse is going to be. Okay, very fun. Let's go ahead and also do a little bit of sequins. You know, I have these little gold discs that I don't often grab for. Let's see, maybe I'll do something new. Okay, so, ooh, I actually like that. I think that could be really fun. Let's do, I don't want to do too many here. Ooh, I actually really do like that. Okay, what a fun card. And I'm loving that we're going to get a little bonus out of it. I'm wondering if I could maybe do something like, oh, I kind of like that. I'm not going to overthink this. I'm really not. In fact, yeah, and I have this other one kind of tucked underneath here. I'm just going to go with it. To me, it looks fun. So I'm going to add my little glue. I also was thinking, I have those little sentiment strips. Oh, that's really fun. I like the warmness of, oops, I think I'm trying to convince that to stay. We'll see if that one stays. Sometimes it's hard on embossing or embossed paper because you need a little bit more glue than you think because you're not going onto a flat surface. But I have those little sentiment strips that I thought would be fun, and I forgot to pull them out. They are these fun little strips. I wonder if I could just give myself a little preview of what that could look like. Oh, that is so fun. Is there one that's really short though? Or oh, I like you rock. Okay, let me trim that down and let's just play with it because I want to kind of layer it, but if it doesn't work out, I could play around with it on my next card. Let's just see. I'm trying to use these little sentiment or really sub-sentiments, if you will, a little bit more because I went on a kind of a shopping spree with them a while ago, and then honestly, I put them in those cute little sleeves, but then I kind of forget about them. And I'm trying to be better about, I don't know, using what I have, really. Okay, here is the U rock. Oh, it's so tiny. I think it could be really fun. What if we did, because I love this. You can still tell that it says you did. Actually, if I do this, you did it there like that. You rock. I love it. I'm not going to overthink it. I'm putting it right on. And I'm just going to glue it right there. Okay, glue tweezers. Where are you? I think that is so fun. Okay, definitely used some different supplies today that I don't normally grab for, which I am super excited about because I fell in love with that sequins. Actually, I think, which way do I want to do that? Do I want it there or do I want to slide it in a little? I think I want to slide it in just a little bit. Okay. I used that sequins. That is adorable. And a new little sub-sentiment label. That is so fun. Okay, I haven't said this in a while, and it's not because I haven't meant it, but I really, really mean it today. I think this might be one of my favorite cards. I think that is so cute. This is so cute. Okay, let's move these, and then let's bring in all of the other little pieces. I think we're just gonna leave this over here and just adore it for a little bit. I don't know about you, but I'm loving that. And let's play around with the inverse. So the first thing that I want to do is let's build up the background layers. So I have some paper on there, but it doesn't matter because it's going to be covered. But let's do this. Build these one on top of another, because then we'll place our color piece on and then do a little inlay. I love a good exciting craft night when things just kind of come together. I'll be honest, today I just was not feeling well. Just wasn't feeling good. Definitely was laying around a little bit, trying just to feel better. My tummy was hurting, but so I say that to say that after bedtime, I kind of wasn't really feeling like crafting, but I encouraged myself just to get down here because sometimes it's just nice to be creative at the end of the day. So it's so nice to just see something fun turn out. And kind of in a different way than I was really thinking in my head. Definitely want to do the paper strips, but okay, that is so cute. I'm gonna love this as well. Okay, let's do the block. Plus, when you have a tummy ache, I feel like crafting or just distraction in general. That's why I think I read a lot today, just to kind of take your mind off of your bellyache, right? But crafting can be the best medicine in a lot of ways. Oh, let me see, did that get too close? I really want to be able to inlay that. But, ooh, I think it's this piece that needs to shift over. Okay, let's hurry and get this down. This little inside piece is kind of shifting around. I want to make sure that I can fit this in. Just inlay that. Oh, it did. Oh, that's great. Okay. Look at that. Place it right in. I love doing an inlay. I don't do these often, and every time I do it, which again, not often, boy oh boy do I love the look of it. And I always think, why don't you think to do this more? It's so simple and so pretty. Okay, let's press that down and get those little middles in there. Oh, that's cute. You know, I was gonna put some additional ones on top. I still might, but might not. We'll see. Okay, this is going to go like that. Yep. So save all of your little pieces here. Okay, this will go just like this. And finally, let's see, which way is this cutie one? I think it goes this way. Yep. Just like that. Oh, so fun. Oh, both are really fun. Now, should we add? I really like the inlay look. Just nice and flat. But I want to see what this would look like with some dimension. Yeah, I can't help it. I can't help it. Okay, so actually I will glue these two pieces together and then I'll place it down. That way I think that will be a little bit better for me, because once you add two pieces together, it kind of makes it a little bit more sturdy and rigid. So it'll take the shape easier than, you know, one piece, which is flimsy. So if we add these two together, I think it'll be easier to line up on our little piece. Okay, this is so cute. I love a good wafer die that is so well designed, because I feel like this is what I'm going to reuse a lot. All right, instead of on the back of my letters, I'm gonna just put the glue right on the surface here. And let's get this all laid down too. Let's line that up. Ooh, good choice, I think. I really like that. Add some subtle dimension, but it really made a difference. Both, you couldn't go wrong there. If you just want to do the inlay without the additional layers, both are gorgeous. Depends on what you're kind of going for, but look, isn't that neat? Okay. Our second card panel is all down. Oh, that is too fun. Add this embossing folder to your cart. That is so fun. Oh, look at that. Oh, these are cool. I think this is neato. I love how they're so different from one another. Now, well, I guess I don't need to decide that now at all. Let's lay this down. I was going to say, do I need to decide on my sub-sentiment, but I really don't. So let's just place this in place. Okay, I am just going to trim these little edges off with some scissors. I feel like I'm confident I can do that. Tiny little 1/4 of an inch. Okay, I'm going to use this little one from the same collection that says So Proud. I think that's really cute. Maybe bring that up a hair, but I really do like it right there. Okay, let's add that. These are so darn cute. I really love it. Okay, so I am going to give these to my little kiddos after their first day of school. I'm pre-planning all of the encouragement. I think these are really fun. I love the colors. Well, let me see if I can do something a little different than my last one. Although I really like that there's a little bit of negative space here and then negative space here. I don't know. Well, unless I tuck. Yeah, I could do it the other way and then just kind of tuck one. I think that will be fine. Okay, I'm gonna end up tucking that. And then I like to go for the smaller of the sequins. So 2 of my other ones will just kind of be the same size, which I cheat and do a lot, which it's not cheating, it's doing what you want to do, right? I'm going to do, let's give that a little bit more room. I'm gonna do that. Okay, I like how that looks. So make that final with some glue, and in this one I really do want to sneak that under my little, there we go. Just slide it just a little bit. Let that set for a second. There we go. Oh, I like that. I don't do that little slide very often, and again, it's one of those things, I feel like this card is kind of reminding me of other fun things that are nice to do that I need to be mindful to remember. Sometimes we get in our little comfort zones of things. I got in my comfort zone with those little dewdrop embellishments. Oh my goodness. Not a bad comfort zone to be in, but when you have an entire tray of sequins, I feel like all the other little sequins are getting a little lonely. All right. Okay, there are the final 2 cards. I think that embossing folder is just so neat. And then of course the layering of the paper. Ugh, it's just so fun. I really like that really simple dimension that offered. Here's this one too. Isn't that pretty? And the warm sequins, I love how that plays with the really pretty paper color choices. I think those are fun. Okay, so originally a card idea that just used scraps, and then we got an additional card out of the scraps of the scraps of the scraps, if that even makes sense. We used scraps and then we used our scraps to make an additional card, which is way fun. I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you picked up a little trick or two, or it just encouraged you to look at your supplies in a new way, or all of those little pieces that you have cut off of other projects in a new way. Please be sure to give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If you do end up recreating any of my cards or any of the projects that I do create on my channel, be sure to use the hashtag BethAdeliaInspired over on Instagram. That way I can see what you create. I would love to see how I've inspired you. All right, everyone, I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.